No, the tequila high noons are
pretty tasty.
Yeah, would you say they're the better of the two, in your opinion?
I'm not a high noon connoisseur. What are you talking about?
I didn't say you were. I was just asking your opinion. Is that a crime?
I actually haven't had the tequila ones enough because they just came out and it hasn't really been like a summertime opportunity.
But you've had the other ones enough that you would say that you...
I really like the other ones.
Okay.
So I haven't developed enough of a taste for the tequila one yet to actually say for sure whether or not one is better than the other.
Yeah, and it's hard when you love something so much to...
Yeah. Because I don't want it like the other one to feel like I'm cheating on it. That becomes awkward.
I know
it's like a weird high noon love triangle.
The corporate people over at High Noon are probably like, we are constantly, the tequila side's fighting for you.
Yes,
the vodka side's fighting for you.
The sponsorships are going to end if I say one thing one way or another. So that would be...
Yeah. Only one of those two varieties has sponsorship money for you at any given time. Right. So you got to be able to...
Right.
You got to adapt. You got to roll with it.
Yes.
If you were approached tomorrow...
Oh, no.
If you were approached tomorrow by a company like, say, High Noon.
No, right? I would say no.
A liquor company.
Yeah.
A company that makes alcoholic beverages, and they said, hey, we want to do...
Okay, for one thing, that I feel like that questions my moral compass. Because I feel like you have to be a drinker.
I think the answer to the question is what questions is about your moral compass, right? It's your answer. So, let me ask this question first.
Okay.
And then we can make a judgment on this. Okay, the question is... They come to you and they say, hey, we want to do an ad campaign about mothers, specifically. Mothers, middle-aged women, and be like, hey, I don't like any of that fancy stuff. I don't like that bourbon, but I love myself a High Noon. When I go to the fridge on a Tuesday at 3 p.m., I go for the High Noon.
That's
would
called
you...
alcoholism.
I'm not putting a judgment on it. I'm just asking.
Right.
If they wanted you to be a spokesperson for that, would you take it?
No, I would not.
All right, $1 million. You take it?
Nope.
Really?
Yeah.
See, we've had this conversation a lot on the podcast. I would do a lot for $1 million.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I would sacrifice a lot for $1 million.
Yeah, I just don't think that I would want my face and I'm not saying that in I just feel like, number one, I'm really boring. So people would be really disappointed. They'd be like, so what are you doing at 3:00 on a Tuesday? And I'd be like, I don't know, I just got done with work and I'm going to feed my dog and water my yard. So it wouldn't be illustrious. I'm not an influencer
But that's not what it's about.
I know.
It's about the average woman.
Okay.
Right? I just watched Shadow of a Doubt last night, and there's a whole, it's Hitchcock film.
Okay.
It's a Hitchcock film. It's about a man who is a strangler. He is a strangler of rich, widowed women.
Okay.
He strangles them and steals their money.
Okay.
And he goes back to his hometown and is sort of pulling the wool over the eyes of his family to try to get them to harbor him as he runs away from the law. Okay. And the detectives get into the house by pretending that they're shooting a documentary for the census, a government documentary, weirdly enough.
Okay.
That's we just want to see the average American family.
Right.
Right. And that's what I would say this hypothetical High Noon representative is also trying to do.
But I don't think that's a selling point. I don't have anything that people would be like, oh, yes, I want to go out and buy 4 seltzers for an overinflated price.
Yeah.
That Dave Portnoy actually, also represents. And he's not someone that coincides with middle-aged mothers who.
It's true.
It's
true. But they could. All they have to do is they have to secure the amber demographic.
No,
right?
no, I have nothing fake on me. I mean, I'm not a good. I'm not a good person for this.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're not a good person. Okay.
Yeah. Full stop.
Yeah,
I'm not a good person.
Yeah.
Period. No.
And it's not like they want to attach their name to you. In
no.
That respect.
No.
Yeah.
Heaven forbid.
Yeah. They're such a highbrow company.
Yeah.
of high morals. A seltzer company.
Barstool. Yeah.
Yes.
Totally.
Exactly. Okay. Oh.
I just
it's all good.
Something.
It's all good.
Sorry.
It's just a plug-in. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. You could literally throw that thing against a wall.
Okay, well, we're not going to do that. Not in this beautiful studio space.
I wasn't going to say we were going to. Okay,
right.
So we were talking about seltzers, and that reminded me of something.
Okay.
Saw an ad yesterday.
Okay.
Frickin' hold on to your seat for this.
Okay, frickin' I will.
What 90s beverage would you say, classic 90s beverage for kids, is now releasing a seltzer? They're releasing a seltzer on
clearly Canadian, or
I think that's a little earlier, but
is that earlier than 90s?
I think so.
It must
yeah.
be late 90s.
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
No, I don't think.
I
Maybe
think it's
late
early. So it's late 90s, early 2000s.
2000s. Okay,
Yeah.
I was like having kids then, so I don't know. It would be more your thing.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a drink
is
that
it?
was It's a drink that you would not let us drink on the average, right? If we were to go to a party, it is orange flavored.
High C?
No, it is a
Sunny
D.
D.
Oh, Sunny D.
Yes.
Oh, Sunny D is horrible for you. That's why I wouldn't let you guys
Exactly,
drink. And they're doing a seltzer?
They're doing a seltzer. And you know what the
gross.
funniest thing about it is I really expected it to be orange, but it pours out clear. So I don't
of
know
course.
what they're trying to do.
Brr.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Well, I mean,
sad.
that's the beautiful thing about Sunny D is it's vibrant yellow.
Right.
Right. And so,
Orange. I think it's vibrant orange.
I mean, hey, in one hand, do the other. I guess is that what people say?
Yeah.
Three in the bush. So regardless,
Three in the bush.
regardless.
Speaking of that, Bush beer today I noticed in Walmart,
what about it?
they have corn on their can.
Yeah.
Okay, why?
Why? I mean, I don't know the full answer to this question.
Is it like trying to be more like Midwest and farmer and not Bud Light?
Yeah,
But
I mean,
why does- why-
there
why
is
do
a
you
war
think-
going on.
Yeah, why do you look at Bush Light and think corn?
Listen, again, there's a war going on. I'm not going to say who the good guys or the bad guys are. There's a
Right.
war going on in the light beer community.
Right.
Everybody's
It's
trying
been
to take
waged
sides.
on the farm.
Yes, and
Obviously.
the farmer is the one that is the saddest about the loss of Bud Light,
I would
right?
assume so.
And Bush, they're going to
They're-
try to get
yes,
in there.
they're
like,
going in
what
there
if
cornering
What do farmers know? What do they like?
I mean, if it was like a
Corn.
hops bush or wheat or barley,
Mhm.
but it's corn.
I don't think it's a corn beer.
No, is there such a thing as a
Joshua
corn beer?
Liebhauser, is Bush a corn beer? I don't think that. I
I don't
literally,
think that there is a corn beer. Is that a thing?
You could, because all you need is a grain and a sugar.
No, I
and
don't think
yeast.
there's corn liquor. Is there
Yeah,
corn
there
liquor?
is corn liquor.
Okay.
Yeah.
But corn beer? No. You have to have a hop and
Yeah.
a barley.
Well, yeah, but no, like I this is gonna sound like the nerdiest thing in the entire world, but I've been playing this board game called Distilled recently, where
Okay.
you like distill liquor
And a board game form.
in a board game form.
Yes, that's nerdy.
Yeah, well, hey, I didn't ask you to agree with me. I made the statement. I don't need it to be emphatically agreed upon. From what I understand, at least if the board game is correct, to make liquor, all you need is
Okay,
a
but
sugar
I'm not talking about
and
liquor.
any grain.
I'm talking about beer. That's different.
I know.
There is a
what,
corn
what do you
liquor.
got for us?
Okay, so Bush and Bush Light are both brewed with a blend of hops, malt, and corn.
There you
Oh.
go.
So it is a corn beer. I think a lot of other light beers are rice beers. Like I think Bud Light is made with rice, if I want to
Okay.
say, which has less flavor than corn. So
Right.
There you go. And
It's just weird to look over and look at a corn beer.
well, hey, you may not have a connection in your family, but
Right.
the Nebraskan blood in my veins.
Oh, yeah.
When
That's
I taste
true.
the corn,
It takes you
I
back
actually,
to the homeland.
I distinctly dislike corn now. I think
Oh,
it's
really?
too sweet. Yeah, I don't know. This is uninteresting, but that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like corn, but it has to be fresh corn on the cob. It can't be like canned corn or frozen corn.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's usually swimming in butter when I have it.
Oh.
Which is
That makes it sweet.
yeah, it could be better, but
Yeah.
anyway.
Anyway, sorry.
No, it's all good. It's all good. So we've we've gone through the classics. We've talked about alcohol.
Yep.
We've talked about so much. Well, one thing I've noticed on this podcast, I just want to bring this up. Right,
Okay.
I want to bring it to the masses.
Okay.
We've had a lot of low riding chairs, right, on the
Okay.
podcast recently, where we sort of sink into them.
Oh, which is
Um,
nice. I like a low riding chair.
The big problem for me is it accentuates my belly
Right.
extremely.
Well, I was actually worried about my last minute call because when we were down in your basement, you had the table.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was just like a good buffer.
Yes.
So
it's
like
true.
this whole like sitting here, oh, I'm super casual.
You don't like being super casual, You don't want to see. This is why you'd make a terrible spokesperson for High Noon,
Yeah.
right? You just don't have a
because I wouldn't be
presence.
like
Yeah.
in my bathing suit, smoking my cig by the pool, like, hey, this is what you
I
do
don't
at
think
3:00.
I don't think they let people smoke cigarettes in commercials anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that banned? Apparently, cigarettes are making a comeback, and it started with the Queen's Gambit and that actress that looks funny.
Anna Taylor-Joy?
Yeah, so
Or
you knew what I was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I think
She's-
it's Anna. Anna
Ooh.
Taylor-Joy.
Anna
but
de
yeah,
Armas?
No,
nope.
she doesn't
She's
look funny.
Anna. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's weird that you would say that she
So
looks funny.
Anna, though, let's go back to Anna, the
Latino?
I don't think
Anna
she's.
de Armas?
Yes, is she Latino?
Yes,
Yeah.
she's
She
like
is.
Honduran or Guatemalan.
Okay,
or
so
something
I
like
know
that.
this is probably gonna get someone in trouble, but apparently that's Dominic Papalardo's like lady.
Yeah, okay, so this is
So-
funny because I was
Nice.
actually going to talk about
Yeah.
Dominic Papalardo on the pod today. So, first off, he's talking mad gay, mad. He's talking mad about the pod. I can't really say that word at the moment. No, we're not on the Patreon.
I guess he accidentally sent. He meant to send Silas a meme or a picture of her, but he sent it to his
girlfriend at one point.
yes, his lovely
I-
lady.
I'm-
No.
Yeah.
Oh no,
Which is
that's a rookie
This is so
mistake.
Yeah.
funny because like a lot of people listen to this podcast have no idea who Dominic Papalardo
no,
is.
or even who we're
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about, or care about High
exactly.
Noon.
Yeah, but I will say, like, if you're a guy who's like, I'm really looking forward to Blonde because Anna de Armas is in it, you gotta ask yourself some questions,
Okay.
buddy.
It took me a minute to like see where you're going. I was like, what? The Marilyn Monroe movie.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. You gotta hold off talking about that, brother. It's not something you talk to people about. Then again, we are the ones who are talking about it on a podcast in a public space, so
Yes.
that's our bad. But I received many texts about what Silas said on the podcast in
Oh.
regards to the people on the anime club. People were talking mad. But it was an issue. There was problems.
Right, because he was saying that basically it was Dominic's fault.
Yeah,
That the
yeah.
anime club dissolved.
Yeah, and then I got a very long text from Naish about it as well.
Oh boy.
So honestly, what I think needs to happen is we just need to have them back on the podcast
Yes.
to, really hash
it'll be
it
hard
out.
though, because everyone's like hither and thither next semester.
It's true. It's true.
supposedly.
Hither and yon.
No, hither and tither.
All right. All right. Hey, when I brought you on the podcast, I didn't really want it to be a combative thing. I didn't really want to feel
Combative,
like I was. Yeah,
not
I was.
combative. Sorry.
Get him.
Okay, so
Got him.
you were talking about how before we went on how when you first met the Papalardos,
Oh, yeah.
you scared them by approaching them
Yes.
with the "I know you, though you don't know who I am."
Yes,
How
yes.
how did that sort of shake out?
Well, the reason why I talked about this is because I saw what I believe to be Jane's parents in Rough Draft. Jane's sister worked. She served Silas and I coffee, and then she looks just like Jane. But you don't want to make assumptions. Yeah, so you don't want to make assumptions. So then I saw someone that looked like Jane's mom, who I assumed, and then Jane's dad, and then brother comes in, and this is just another version of their sweet little family. And I wanted to go up to him because they seemed like they were super sweet people and be like, hey, I'm Shadrach and Dylan's mom. But I did this to Dominic and Joe's dad at convocation, Silas and Dom's freshman year. I walked up to him like, hey, you don't know me, but I am Shad Strehle's mom. And he's like, he didn't even know who Shad was. And I'm like, the guy that was Dom's roommate in DC? And he just still blank.
yeah, completely blank.
So then I had to like really explain. And I probably stood there and like did Amber talking too much thing
yeah.
for probably at least a good 8 minutes to the point
Yeah.
where it was super awkward.
But
and
it
then,
did get to the point where it turned around, though.
then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
I think it was a wedding of some sort that the light bulb just went on.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was just like, oh, I know who you are.
So my favorite thing about that is then I had never met Dominic Papalardo before that day. And then me and Dom, I would consider us friends now, Dom. The truce. We're friends.
Regardless of anime club beef.
yeah,
Yeah.
regardless of what I've said on this podcast on this particular episode. So anyway, they introduced me to Dom and then asked for us to take a picture together to send to Joe.
You and Dom?
Yeah, me and Dom. And so like I had to like put my arm around him and be like, hey, this is Dom. I did not know the kid. He did not know who I
Right.
was. And apparently he texted Joe like immediately after and was like, I met some of your weird friends at the college today. And I'm like, oh,
Well,
damn.
we wanted
And I didn't even want to do it. I was just sort of coerced into it.
Right.
Too.
We
I
wanted
wanted to be
Silas and
polite.
Dom to be friends so bad because you guys
Yeah.
were friends with Joe. And so then we're like, hey, this is Silas and they both were kind of like,
Yeah.
they just totally went separate ways. They just were like, it's a And then, but then of course the best part about it is that they became friends totally
It's
on
true.
their own.
It's
So,
true, and it all came back together.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
Yes.
Guys, we got frickin' Amber Strehle on the podcast today. We didn't get Chris Christie like I promised. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Both Chris Christie and Creed canceled.
Creed?
Creed, for our
that's
musical
right.
guest. Yeah, it was going to be Creed this week.
What's his song? It's
He does with arms wide open. I think that's him. Is that Pearl Jam?
No, that's not Pearl Jam.
That's the one. No, what's the other big one too?
I should really have looked this up before I invited him on the podcast.
Maybe that's why they didn't show up.
Yeah, they probably could tell I was a fake fan.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, I loved your
Yes.
I loved your guys'
I'll
album.
take you higher. That one.
Yeah.
Yes.
I loved your guys' album, Dark Side of the Moon. We'd love to have you on the pod. That's probably why you canceled. But we've got the most popular guest of all time.
Yes, let's not forget that.
Yeah, a Monomaniacs podcast guest of all time.
Yes.
Who, just crushed the numbers, right? What do you say is the magic spark? What brought this? Why did the people clamor to bring Amber back on the pod?
I don't think anybody clamored. I think that from what I gather, I was the third option for today.
That is only partially true.
That is blatantly untrue. I don't know where you would have heard that.
Okay,
Exactly.
well, because he told me that.
Right.
But
No.
You keep throwing around this phrase "third string," which I think is.
it is.
I mean, you're third
like
behind
the
Chris
CT.
Christie and Creed. I mean, most of us in this room are. I mean, to be frank. So what can I say? You should be honored out of that list. You're third place.
True. Yes. There's so many more.
Because next was
more.
Elton John, and you came out above.
No, you should put Elton John above Chris Christie.
Oh, above Chris Christie.
Yeah.
It's true
Yeah.
actually. But we looked into the analytics. Yeah, we looked
He
at
just
the
doesn't
numbers.
pull.
Yeah, he doesn't
Yeah.
pull like Chris Christie does.
Right.
Yeah, we all know
Maybe you
this
have the
about
wrong demographic.
we all
Just
know this
saying.
about Chris Christie. He pulls now. So welcome back to the podcast. Last time we talked about motherhood when you were on the pod. That was your monomaniacal obsession.
Yes.
Before we go into your new monomaniacal obsession,
Yeah.
you're now a grandmother.
I know.
Yes. And so you've got evolved feelings in regards to motherhood,
Yes.
I might imagine.
Yes. Being grandmother to Hieronymus.
Hieronymus Rock.
That could easily, Hieronymus Rock Strehle,
Mhm.
that could easily be my new monomaniacal obsession.
Mhm.
So I've been chilling with him for the last couple weeks, and it's been amazing. It
Cool.
really has. Yeah.
I mean,
the
hey, what more can
Strehle-
you add?
Not much.
No, it's just great. It's
No, the
just great.
Strehle line continues.
It's
and
true. We will not be the last generation.
No.
We will not. The line will not die with us.
No,
So,
that's encouraging. That's really encouraging.
Lord willing. Lord willing.
Yes,
Goodness.
yes.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm very thankful for Dad more than anyone because I know he's up late at night thinking, will my blood remain strong enough to survive through the generations?
Carry on.
I know I feel the same way.
Yes.
So I feel like his sigh of relief is probably
palatable.
the most strong.
Yes,
out
he'll
of
be
anybody.
here on Wednesday night. So, and he's very much
And we
looking
and we got
forward.
you on the pod instead of Zach. I don't know why we.
Hey, you didn't ask.
It's true. Well, we got.
You should have had both of us on
That's
the
true,
pod.
but we got to.
Oh, that'd be wild.
Yes, it
Top
would.
Patreon supporters together live in studio.
Yeah.
Exactly. The top dogs here. Oh goodness. All right, so let's move to. This podcast ostensibly is about something, and we haven't.
Right.
It hasn't been about this thing for a while now.
Yeah, no, it's been quite some time.
Yeah, I know.
Since
Like
we've-
the last few episodes, you haven't really.
Yeah. Well,
had a
we try to
monomaniacal.
adapt to the guest, and
Okay.
and to Shad being gone. So,
Right. Who's on paternity leave?
He was on.
How long
paternity.
of paternity leave is he allowed? Are you guys giving him?
That's up to him. We haven't
Okay.
really talked about it in depth.
We have not talked about it. I imagine, like, in order for Dylan to have an arc, we're gonna have to like fend him off for a while.
Right.
Otherwise, he's gonna be back in the studio next week.
Yeah.
So.
We've got at least 3 seasons of character development
Oh,
written
okay.
for me.
Yeah.
So we got to
Okay.
make sure that was not done in vain, and that can sort of take its
Okay,
time to
wow.
roll out.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, there was no character development for Dylan in the first year and a half we've been doing this,
Right.
so
so
it's got to pack it all into
I gotta,
like 2 weeks.
I gotta find the space right where Shad's gone and just sort of slither in there and make
Right.
it happen.
Slither?
Right? Slither.
Yeah, that's
What's wrong with slither?
nothing. It just like would just make you believe that you might be snake-like.
I would say I'm more snail-like.
Oh.
Snails slither. Right. Yeah. What
Yeah.
do you think they do? Crawl?
Yes.
They're Slytherin, dude. They have no legs.
They crawl.
Ah, goodness. All right.
I think they're sliming.
Oh yeah, they are probably.
Hey, Josh, could you just cut the mic?
Yeah.
Cut the mic. Thank you.
Happy to cut the mic.
Yeah. All right. Mama, freaking hit us. What is your monomaniacal obsession? What are you obsessed with right now? What are you into at the moment?
Well, okay, so I will fully disclose that I had to make a phone call and actually ask for permission.
Mm-hmm.
And when you were doing the episode with Silas, that episode, where Silas roasted Shad. Actually, that episode was like really enjoyable. And you know why it was most enjoyable? Not because he roasted Shad, is because he held his own. And that I was so proud of him. He really did a good job.
You
He's
like
becoming an articulate young man, which I appreciate.
There you
Yeah. So anyways, I was thinking about this. I had a whole conversation with your dad about it because I was like, what is my mono? I always ask myself this when I listen to your guys' podcast. Anyways, and I really think that my monomaniacal obsession is getting Isabel married.
That, for those that don't know, that is our sister.
Yes.
Isabel Strehle.
Is my beautiful and completely available 23-year-old successful daughter.
A corporate woman.
Yes,
Yeah,
strong,
great
independent
career.
woman.
So this is not
And
Isabel
she gave
Strehle
my full
looks for love.
No.
That's not what this podcast's title is.
no.
We've already done the Brandt episode. We don't need to
No.
to mixed results.
Which
so.
you know what? I've like, thought about Brandt. I was like if Brandt maybe I know he might think that he's taller than he is, but if he was a little bit taller, he's a great kid. I love Brandt.
He also really wants a corporate woman. Like
Does
he has told me that many times.
Yeah.
I think he's stated that on this podcast as well. So
guys,
it's just
I love
age is just
Brandt.
about right. It's great.
I know.
This podcast is 30% matchmaking at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
Okay, well we need to
we've
up
arrived.
those numbers.
Yeah,
we
we
need
do.
to have
That's
a
true.
full monomaniac wedding.
You know what we need to do? We need to do a dating game style episode where we
that would
put
be fun.
3 eligible bachelors on one side of his screen
Yeah.
and Isabel on one
And-
other side.
And they don't know who the other person. It's like a blind date. And then you pull them up on the screen.
yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
that would be
Dude.
super
So-
interesting.
class-
Isabel is not good with a poker face though at all. So
Well, that's
We-
why there's the screen. She
Yeah.
doesn't
Okay.
have to do anything.
We
Okay.
we don't tell either of them that it's like a dating game episode. We just tell both of them, hey, we want you to call in and be on the
that's a
show.
really good idea.
Well, they would have to not listen to this episode for this. To
Brandt
work,
is
so
at least 6 months behind on the show, so we got to do it soon, and we'll be fine.
Goodness. All right. So
anyways,
what
she
to
is
you,
my.
so you've gotten her full permission to
I
talk
have,
about
and she
this.
said she literally. I go, sis. I go. Dylan asked me third string to be on the show, and
I
I
don't know
was
why you have
thinking.
to
I'm
bring
just
this up.
saying, just the
Yeah.
third string.
This is like the reverse of the bit where I would like constantly talk about it so that you would feel down
Yeah.
about it, but instead you're just breaking yourself down for
Oh,
no
I'm
reason.
not. Oh, no. It really isn't breaking me down. I promise. I don't have enough of an
So
ego.
then what's the goal? Is it for me to break down?
Yeah, but it's
Oh.
not working.
Damn it.
yeah.
All right, okay.
Anyways, third string mom. So I called her up and I said, hey, I don't know if Dylan has a bit this week, but if I am asked about my monomaniacal obsession, I would like to ask or make it you and getting married. And she starts laughing. She goes, yeah, go for it. She's like, you are completely obsessed with me getting married. And then apparently her and her father talked about it last week. And he said, yeah, she is hyper focusing on that a lot right now. So,
So
full
this
disclosure.
This is diagnosed by others in your life as well.
Absolutely, 100%. And you could probably call Trish, which she would love to be a guest on your show at some particular
It's true.
point.
I know she would.
And Emma, and they would all completely agree with this.
Which are people that we know. Just to provide
yes,
additional
family,
context.
Yes, family members,
Yes.
best friends,
The greater
long,
family.
Yeah, long-term
knows-
confidants.
Yes, knows that this is the current issue
Yes,
at hand.
yes.
All right, so I always like to ask this question. What in your mind is sort of the genesis of this? What sort of sparked this in your mind? Because I know this is something that's like a kind of an ever-present thing.
Right.
As soon as your daughter is of eligible marriageable age,
Right.
You're like, when is that going to happen?
Right. There's
But-
always kind of a little bit of an undercurrent, I guess,
Mhm.
with it. And I think that just a couple different things, seeing her being ready,
Mhm.
and on being open to it now a little bit more than she probably was before. Silas, not saying that he's in a stable relationship. She wishes she was in a stable relationship. Emma being married, which is her best friend, one of her best friends. Even her other best friend, Lexi, she's in a long-term relationship as well. And so Emma's married and has a baby. I think Isabel, wishes that she was, moving on in that particular part of her life. Her career is doing fantastic.
Well, so there's a lot of speaking for Isabel going on
at
the moment.
I know, which we could call her if we wanted to. And I could, so I want to make sure that I'm being earnest and honest in this. I could be projecting that. Mm-hmm. But that's how it is in my mind.
Yeah.
And then part of it too, and she did, sorry, do you have a quick?
No. I was going to add to that, but continue.
One of the things
I'll let you cook, Queen.
Thanks. One of the things that's been really interesting because, dating is so different, obviously, than when I dated. And really, I didn't date very much because I married my high school sweetheart. So this whole online dating thing is insane to me. These apps. I know I sound like a total boomer.
You do sound like a concrete boomer
I know,
now. Yeah.
but it's insane. It really literally is. And it's like not fair for anybody involved. So sis let me, and of course, all the jokes are, it's like, I can't touch the phone, so she got on a dating app. I won't say which one, but it's not the one where you meet random hookups. It's a different one. And
so it's not Tinder, you're saying?
Yeah, it's not Tinder. And so she was scrolling through this and while she's sitting next to me. And I'm telling you what, you have to make this decision in such a split second. Mm-hmm. And Isabel is not overly focused on, like, this person doesn't have to be a ravishing, unusually hot guy, or she doesn't even really, she's very diverse in what she finds attractive. And so, but it's like she makes these decisions in like 20 seconds. She's decided. That might even be long.
That sounds long to me.
Yeah. And
I'd imagine it'd be closer to 6.
No. And I'm like, wait, you haven't even read, did he spell something incorrectly? Like, you don't even know if the punctuation's right. Like, what does he do for a living? Does he like his mom? You don't know any of these things. And she's already just said, no. In like 4 minutes, she's cycled through like 25 guys. Okay. It's insane to me. Not only, I think about these poor boys too. I have 3 boys. So it's like, I think about these guys that some of them might be really, really good guys. How can we make this decision that quickly? And it's like, what? This isn't working. I know that it works for some people and but it's fascinating. And it's so sad because that seems to be what everyone's kind of starting to rely on now more. And they're going through and you don't know. You have no idea. And I'm like, is there a save for later button where you could like go back and like instead like 3 columns, like this for sure is a no, but this might be a maybe in like 2 weeks, It's insane to me.
Well, so I think the big difference is because it's a democratized app, with so many people on it, you have a huge selection, right? So you have to make calls quickly because you're being fed additional people.
Right. Well, and then let's get into the whole algorithm thing. Like if you get on you want like the doctor lawyer algorithm, right? Mm-hmm. You want the Columbia, not the country, but has gone to Columbia, algorithm, right? So
how dare she like anybody from Columbia?
Not saying, you know what I'm saying. Like I wasn't going to say anything regarding race or ethnicity.
I know exactly what you're saying.
But it's like you get on that algorithm, but then like you swipe no on too many guys from Yale and all of a sudden, you're maybe on an algorithm that you don't want to be on. And that's a whole other aspect of it. And it's insanity to me. It's like how it feels very dehumanizing. Mm-hmm. So it's not only do I feel sorry for my daughter who goes on a date thinking that it's a legitimate date and somebody has, intentions that are not okay and you have to end the date. So you think about that aspect of it, but you also think about these poor guys who a lot of them probably are looking for somebody just as earnestly as my daughter is looking for someone, but there's no chance that that's actually going to click. In fact, I know of a young man that's the same age as Isabel that was on just for a little while and it was too much for him. Mm-hmm. Good kid. Really, really good kid. Like, nothing.
I mean, you can say his name. It's Brandt,
No. I don't know if Brant was on there or not. So, anyways, I just feel like, and then not to mention the fact, we don't have to get into, we don't want to get political with this kind of stuff, but, it takes away such an element of chivalry and, masculinity and all of these things that I feel like we're lacking. And so many, not all women are drawn to that, but a lot of women are.
Not all women?
Nope.
No. Well, okay, so I have a couple of questions for you. All right. So one, right. You are Isabel's mother.
Correct.
Right? You are not Isabel.
No.
You are not Isabel.
Nope.
And this is not meant to be in any way combative.
Okay.
Okay. This is a genuine question.
That's like when you're like, hey, not to be mean,
not to be racist, but if they're from Colombia,
exactly.
Not to be combative, but in your mind, right? And I think a lot of this comes from Isabel's consent in the matter, but is it your space, right, or your place to be the person that is the driving force behind your daughter getting married?
Oh, no, absolutely not. Yeah. I don't believe I'm the driving force behind this either. I believe, and I could totally be wrong, she has expressed things to me specifically.
So you view it more as like a spectator who is rooting for a side.
Yeah,
as
I just feel,
an actor.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like more, and she might differ. And yes, everybody who knows me knows I tiptoe way too close to it and get way too involved. But she is the driving force behind this. Mm-hmm. And she is at a point in her life where she's, ready and open to it, probably more earnestly than she's been before. So it's like I see, because with all of my children, when I see them wanting something that is a good, pure, like, life thing, then I want to step in and be that assist. I want to assist with that and to encourage and, whatever I can to serve, her in any of my children and being able to accomplish what they
So I was going to follow up, and I think you've partially answered this question, as sort of motivation, right? Like what is the driving force behind it? And you would say that your driving force is the happiness of your child then.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which can be like, people are like, no, I just wanted to make him happy, and they're psycho. So there is that. There is a funny line with, yeah. And I have to be. I mean, there's a reason why. Number one, I called up and asked permission, and there's a reason why her dad said, "Yeah, your mom is definitely hyper focused on it right now," and it is because of conversations that her and I have had specifically, and I, I just would like to see her happy in that arena. Period.
So, how are we doing on time? Because I have a question. I wonder if we need to move to Patreon questions before we get to it.
We're at 33. I do have a number of Patreon questions that I just asked about, and I can read them off if you want, and I have some extra ones from Joe too.
Yeah, let me hit the one that we got on Patreon first, because we've already answered this question. And sorry for interrupting you on this, but
oh no,
the next question I had was going to be a bit of a long answer, so I want to make sure we handle this first. Folks, we're supported by our Patreon supporters. They are who allow us to do this, right? The reason we have the studio that we do, the equipment that we do, is because of y'all's support, and we thank you for that. I want to thank our top patrons. Joe Papalardi. Yes, his name is Joe Papalardi. Samuel Roberts, Luke Robson, and that's it. There's nobody else. Zach and Amber Strehle.
See, something that my children like to do that I want to support.
That you want to support.
Yes, because it's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And never mind. There was a joke there. I didn't want to throw this out there. I got at the $5 tier. You guys can watch the Patreon post show, which is usually a little bit more. It's a little bit more. I think the adjective would be scoundrel-esque. There's a lot of scoundrelry going on. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, then the uncensored Patreon. Uncensored. It's true, and censored.
Is scoundrelry a word?
Scoundrel-esque. Scoundrel. I'm an English major. I could say
I know. I was
going
to say
justify it. Woo. Okay. So if you're interested in that, you can hop onto our Patreon just by searching our name on Patreon, Monomaniacs Pod. At the $10 tier, you guys can ask questions that we answer on the podcast. And I got some questions from our podcast folks, and I guess we've got a lot of them. So let's start moving through them. First question is from Samuel Roberts. When is Shad coming back? Question mark. If not, when? What about a Brant arc? The Brant arc is what they're looking for.
Sis is coming. We can get Brant and Isabel on here at the same time.
Put them on the couch.
Is that the Brant arc and the Isabel arc simultaneously? So Shad will be back. We talked about this earlier. Shad will be back when he's ready. I don't know how old that's going to be. We haven't really we're letting him enjoy life.
That's right.
Fatherhood. Fatherhood.
Exactly. We'll just let him do that for a little bit until I become desperate, and then I'll give him a call, and he won't answer. And
he
Brant
answered today when you needed the keys. So
true.
Okay.
True. But sometimes you're on a podcast and you run out of things to talk about, and he won't answer you. So all I can say is, and you totally didn't text him beforehand. Whatever you do when I call you, do not answer the phone. Okay. When it comes to Brant, he is our most frequent guest. Put all those episodes together. That's the Brant arc. The Brant arc has already happened. It already exists. You can see loss of innocence. You can see the hero's journey from beginning to end, just in those episodes. So, all right, we got more questions though, right?
I think he's got one more in him.
I think he does. Yeah, we have to have the
righteous
conclusion.
You should have him back on again.
Okay, this one is from Luke Robson. Tips and tricks to overcome morning sickness.
This is for you, I imagine.
I didn't really. Who is Luke Robinson?
Luke Robinson
or Robson?
Luke Robson. We had him on for an episode.
Okay.
He is a board member at Hillsdale College.
Okay.
He is a local entrepreneur.
Yeah, he graduated in like maybe 2017 or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He owns most of downtown.
Okay. Yes, I know this. I've heard of.
He has a cool beard.
Yeah.
Nice truck.
Okay.
Orthodox.
Just moved back here like a week ago or something.
Yes.
So
also a Orthodox, Eastern Orthodox
Mm-hmm.
guy.
Where's the Eastern Orthodox Church at?
I don't know what town it's in, but it's at least a 20-minute drive. I don't know how much.
Maybe
more.
Jackson.
Anyways, I didn't have morning sickness, which I know is a horrible thing to say.
No, I mean, good for you.
Yeah.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
So what would you say in your lifestyle caused that to happen?
I think morning sickness is very much genetic.
Oh, you know what it is?
What?
You know what is? This is what you say to the people, the executives you say is because of high noon.
I don't think that goes with pregnancy.
A high noon a day keeps the morning sickness away. All right, we've got some more questions here from Joe. I'm not going to read all of them.
Okay.
They're not all appropriate for this podcast. First one is, are you glad the Happy Twin is hosting the show now?
I think both the boys are happy. One of them is just a little bit more prickly on the exterior initially than the other. How's that?
What a mother's answer.
I know.
Yes.
I know.
All right. Two more here. You've been informed Shad and Dylan are both in danger, and you can only save one of them.
Oh.
What do you say at Dylan's wake?
That's horrible.
You don't have to answer that.
I'm not going to.
Okay. It hasn't been.
No, I want to know what she would say at my wake, though.
Well, in general, I would just talk about.
It's like that. It's like Fault in Our Stars or whatever. They do the funeral for the gal before she
passes.
Yeah.
I'll be
That's
honest
sad.
with you. Didn't watch it.
Yeah.
It hasn't been long, but what is it like being a young grandparent?
Oh, it's wonderful. The one of the things that's like I didn't realize was such a big deal was the grandma name. Like everyone was like, "What's your grandma name? What's your grandma name?" I mean, I'm like, "Oh, hey, we're having a grandbaby," and that's the first question. Well, what's your grandma name? And I don't think that grandma names are that big of a deal.
Well, it's also important to establish it before the other grandma does.
Exactly.
Because you got to stake your claim on whatever you want.
I know.
With us, it's my wife's mother is grandma.
Okay.
And then my mom really wanted to be granny.
Okay.
Which is funny because she's like
48,
you know?
No, Granny is actually one of the names that I wanted to be too because I wanted to harken back to my Kentucky
Granny's
roots.
back in, I think.
Right
now.
Yeah. So,
Stalking Granny's going up.
Zach did not like Granny. He was like, So I think.
What does he want to be? Okay.
I was thinking about Meemaw. And because that's still pretty Southern.
I thought you wanted to be Gangy at one point.
Okay, I wanted to be Genki because the character, Lucille Bluth from Arrested Development.
That's good.
She is so funny and just so rude, and I love her. But, do you want your grandchild to call you the name of an alcoholic, drunk,
I think it's
arrogant?
I think the answer to that is
yes.
Yeah. I was going to say, it's not even a question.
Like one day when they're grown up and they're looking at the show and they're like, this is who you wanted to be named after. But, she's just brilliant. She's so brilliant in that show. So
rest in peace.
Yes, exactly.
Goodness. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So he asked a good question, though, which is, you've got to have a name that is also on the dad's side. On the
I know.
male
I don't
side.
know. I keep calling your dad Papa. But then like today or a couple days ago, I said something like, oh, Papa's mad. And then Shad's like, he thought he was talking about his Papa, which is my dad.
Yeah.
He's like, why is he mad? And I'm like, oh, no, not your Papa, like Dad. Anyway, so I don't know. This feels like a lot of pressure.
Yeah. The person that's having it the hardest right now, I would say, in this whole situation is probably you.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
You probably have the worst.
Yeah.
Situation out of
they have
anybody.
that video of like going and picking out a necklace where you're supposed to have a necklace made that has your grandma name on it. That seems like a lot. A lot of pressure.
I don't know why I just thought of this, but my wife, I don't know, because I literally thought you were about to say Pete Davidson for some reason.
Oh,
what?
My wife doesn't know who Pete Davidson is.
Good. That
Good for
means
her.
And she said, "Who's that guy in the Smart Water commercial?" I was like, "It's Pete Davidson, famous comedian." I was like, he looks like a drug addict.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
And I was like, I think that's the bit.
That's actually a whole topic we could just delve into one day about ugly guys that for some reason women are attracted to. So,
have you watched the video of him playing basketball?
No.
He's great.
Is he?
But
that's
he's like
Adam
super
Sandler. Have you watched
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Adam
Sandler.
Sandler,
Sandler can ball.
Yes, and he's like legitimately funny. He's not like Pete Davidson funny. Like Adam Sandler is funny, and he can act. I mean,
I will say, I think
fantastic.
Pete Davidson can act in general. I will say that his stand-up is one of the worst I've ever listened to. It's really rough. That's all I can say about the man. That's all I got. He's friends with John Mulaney, I guess.
Yeah. Someone said something about the only reason he's famous is because his dad died in 9/11. So I was like, that's good. Is that even okay to say?
Well, I think it is because I think he has bits in his comedy about that. So I think it's fair game.
I mean, he made a whole movie about his dad dying in 9/11.
Right, I know, which is sad. Anyway.
Well, you brought it up.
I know. I'm just saying that someone said that.
Goodness gracious. No need to throw me under the bus. Lordy. Okay. So let's go back to the topic at hand.
Yes.
Okay, the one that everybody's clamoring about.
Sis.
Okay. Isabel Strehle.
Yes.
Will she? Won't she?
I tell her all the time that she's the jewel in my crown.
Wow. As a guy who thought he was the jewel in your crown, I will say
my only daughter, she's the jewel in my crown.
Very frustrated. Well, what am I then? What am I the
You're like a side jewel.
A side jewel?
Yes.
A jewel on the side of the crown?
Yes, there's like the main jewel and then like probably twins. I got to do like two on either side.
And then there's this big Fabergé egg encrusted with emeralds. That's Silas.
Silas is definitely, he's got a big jewel too, but your only daughter is a big deal.
I don't know why you would say that on a podcast. It's kind of weird, kind of cringe. No, okay. Let's be clear.
Okay.
Let me be clear. Thank you. I think I have a good Obama, but people don't seem to like when I do the Obama. I wonder why. I wonder why people don't like it when I do Obama.
They just get triggered mostly. That's probably the problem.
Don't use that word on this podcast.
Activated. You're supposed to say activated.
Oh, is it activated now?
Yes, that's what we say. You don't say triggered. You say activated. Something activated.
It's because a trigger is part of a gun, and so that's
no.
inappropriate.
It's just because it's overused.
Oh,
there's
okay.
Too much political baggage around the phrase trigger.
It's just overused.
Yeah.
So now we're going to take the same baggage and just inflict it on a new word.
Yes,
it's true, but the right won't know for a long time, and so they won't.
It'll take a while before it gets into the general lexicon.
It's going to take the Facebook moms a long time to figure it out.
Catch up.
Before you start seeing it on a Minion meme, right? It's gonna be a minute. So we keep getting sidetracked.
I know.
Okay, so we've gone over the genesis. We've gone over your motivations. Right. What I want to know is, in your mind, when it comes to your perspective, your involvement, what is the next step?
I don't know.
Right. Like, where do you see this going?
I have no idea.
Is this something that, obviously it could end when it ends. Right.
Which, hopefully it ends in, a wedding.
Yeah, in like 2 months.
Well, not 2 months. That would be like, wow.
I thought
that'd be a whirlwind.
if it's a good thing, make it happen fast.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah.
But I'd have to pay for a flight to fly out there.
Oh
I don't have that kind of time in 2 months.
Yeah.
Come on, the tickets are crazy right now. It's $1,200.
Well,
to
if she
Vancouver right now.
It could be, she
Detroit.
gets married here in Hillsdale, then it would be,
Well, then when she's here, we gotta.
That would be wild. I'm gonna go to this place where all my brothers live, but none of my friends are.
Yeah.
I get married there.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Not happening.
Well, that'd only be if she ended up dating somebody who was a
Hillsdale grad.
A Hillsdale grad who's really into the college and would want to be married in, say, the college chapel. Or
That's allowed.
This would be like the opposite.
So,
of
like somebody like I don't know,
I don't know. Maybe like 5'5" Jewish.
Yeah, could or could not be Catholic.
But that's fine. He's devout. He's a good guy,
Yeah, exactly. You've told me once that you'd be okay with her marrying a Catholic because you'd just be happy if he's a good guy.
Yeah. I would like someone to love the Lord. That's what I would like.
Okay.
So I'm not going to sit here and tit for tat denominations.
Yeah, heresy is a.
Here we go,
folks. This is a staple of the Dylan arc.
Yeah, exactly.
The Dylan arc is it's not an Armenian arc, dude.
Nope.
I know. People have been clamoring for the Dylan.
No,
arc.
we're not going to talk about religion.
Oh goodness.
But this is a perfect opportunity because Shad's not here.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Not when Mama Straley's on. Another time when I'm not on.
Okay. So. Yeah, the big thing I'm nervous about for you.
Okay. Tell me,
because I'm not nervous about anything.
No,
in general. That's
no,
not
you're
me.
not a nervous person or anything.
Is that this is going to be a lot of high stress for a long time.
Oh well, if you haven't really noticed something about our family, we always kind of operate on a certain level of stress
and anxiety at all times.
Yes, yeah. That if it's just not, and actually, Isabel. This monomaniacal obsession, it's interesting that you equate it with something that's stressful. It's actually not stressful to me. And I don't equate obsession with stress. Maybe I should. But so to me,
I don't know if that's healthy or not. But
yeah,
okay.
I don't look at it like I'm not stressed about it. Like I am hopeful for it. I'm like looking out for it. I'll tell you this story, which I know she doesn't care because she's told everybody. But like I have a coworker and her husband's Austin detective. He's an Austin PD. And I was like, I called her up one day. I'm like, hey, so does your husband know of any 25 to 35-year-old single guys, maybe on the force. I don't care. And she's like, no, they're all a bunch of jerks. All the single ones are jerks, So, it's more just that. She's a really good friend of mine, and we were just kind of like, she goes, I don't know anybody, but I'll say a prayer for Isabel at church on Sunday. And I said, okay, good, I'll take it,
So you had mentioned earlier how you don't view yourself as an active participant in the actualization of this. But to me, that sounds like...
Oh, yeah, it's
doing so.
Yes,
yeah,
but so let's just say, because I don't think, I don't think that it would be she's already been set up on a blind date, and I did not have anything to do with that.
I'm not saying whether or not this is like overstepping boundaries.
No.
All I'm saying is that this does sound like you are taking an active role in the manifestation of this.
Yeah,
right?
I guess that I'm yes. Yes, but I don't think that it's like when it comes to me telling her like, oh, you need to do this, or how come you're not doing that. I'm not on her about what she's doing. Okay. So like that aspect of it.
Okay. I would say that
there's a difference
in degrees
with
there. That is the better of two.
Yes.
Of two
so, but
evils.
like if I am around, somebody that is possibly single or knows of some single gentleman or is in that circle, you bet your bottom dollar I'm going to ask about it. So, and it's like, hey, not to be creepy, I'm not asking for myself, but my daughter, I have never done that, but I have thought about it a couple different times. So.
Yeah, that's a special brand of woman you got to watch out for as a young man, is the woman that approaches you and says, hey, are you a young single man? I have a daughter who is also single. Let me tell you, the energy there is a tough one.
I know.
And the last thing that person thinks is, oh, awesome, yes.
Oh, no, he's probably like,
looking forward to meeting this woman's daughter.
Right. I know.
That's what I'm really psyched about.
I know. But, like, I don't know. I think that mothers, grandmothers, aunties, best friends, women who are within a radius. And I don't think you can necessarily understand this as a gentleman or as two gentlemen that met their wives, young. And
this is the first time I've ever been referred to as a gentleman.
Organically. But there is something about your best friends and those who are closest to you that are kind of always feeling out. And they know, and they are in your circle, and they have your best hope, and they have your best your back, I guess, in this situation. Yes. Yeah. And so, like, I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. It's just how you approach it and making sure you don't overinsert yourself. But it's not, I mean, again, like this, we can sit here and talk about just Isabel specifically, but it's an epidemic, really in a lot of ways, with kids meeting each other and this generation actually being able to find people willing to settle down, to have it not be dehumanizing, to not have it be just about a hookup, to not have it be about all the wrong things, and, girls that are doing things that they shouldn't have to be doing, to be able to get into relationships and feeling the pressure of all of that. But it's like that times, 10,000. Mm-hmm. So it's not just about, when I say it's my monomaniacal obsession, it's not just Isabel specific. And even with like the line of work that I'm in, it's so much more. It's just about this idea that that women are kind of, it's just really unfortunate to be seeking a spouse at this particular point in time.
The title of this episode should be Amber Strehle gets black-pilled.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
I think that's that. I don't think that's
Josh, it looks like there's something you wanted to add to the conversation.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh no, that was ages ago. It's gone from my mind. The dating apps though, I think the biggest problem there is the numbers game.
Right.
In that it's so slanted. I don't know if it's like 9-1 or whatever, dudes to women, and so there can be good guys on there, but if you're a woman on there trying to find a guy, there are 9 guys for every one of you.
Right.
8 of those guys are probably douchebags. And
right.
So, it's like, no.
The odds are bad.
The odds are bad for you. And then for guys, it's hopeless because
right.
if you're the one decent guy, you're lost in this kind of sea of douchebags.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that we keep talking about, and I don't necessarily know if she believes me all the way. I'm like, any guy who is smooth at this, who is good at this, automatic douchebag. I'm like, you have to, I said, I don't want to equate this to like your dad or your brothers, but like guys who are awkward on text.
Dylan would be terrible on Tinder.
Exactly.
Oh my word.
And like guys who are awkward.
In my high school time, I tried to do text. It was not
okay.
Yeah. There was no spell check back then on the old phone. Let me tell you, was
that the biggest problem?
One of, yeah. That was one of the biggest. I look back on that and think, man, I looked like an idiot.
So, but it's like, that kind of thing alone, where it's like any guy that automatically is telling you how beautiful you are and hearing all these things. And, you're like, oh, he thinks I'm pretty. And it's like, yeah, no. Maybe he does, but that's not really what his motive is, right?
The guy for her is probably outside Portland in the woods somewhere splitting logs with an axe.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
She said.
How do you find that guy?
Exactly. She goes, you know what I want? She goes, I want a guy that when you're driving your car and it makes a noise, he knows what that noise is.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so, it's just like, and that guy, he's not on Tinder. He's not on Hinge. He's not sitting there curating his dating profile. He's just not.
Maybe she needs to hang around some mechanic shops or something.
let me tell you.
You know what? As soon as I came out of my mouth, I was like,
never mind.
I don't think that's a great.
Maybe a mechanic training school.
Yeah.
Get some younger
Maybe
guys.
She actually go to
Mechanics
mechanics
Oh,
school.
honestly,
Find a
that is
guy.
a good
Go to
trade.
night school at the mechanics school.
Yeah.
I've often thought about just ditching this whole kind of white collar marketing thing and just going to be a mechanic. I was like, I would love that.
diesel mechanics make good.
I would make way more money than
stinking-
making right now.
yes,
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really good money. Yeah.
One
So,
day.
anyways, that's my monomaniacal obsession, and not just Izzy specifically. You know, it's also there's that whole which I got. I mean, if you guys saw my Twitter algorithm right now, you would die because you would think I'm a 23-year-old single woman. But there's that whole. Have you guys seen the new podcast? It's called Whatever, I think. Yeah, I'm sure you guys have seen it.
Pieces of it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I haven't sat and
Clips.
listened to a whole episode because it's definitely not my demographic, but I am looking at kind of the clips that they're releasing or whatever. And it is
That's
just,
crazy stuff.
It is.
Yeah.
It's fascinating to me. And it also breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Like, it's like you have these girls lined up and they're telling you things that they think that they're supposed to say and reasons why that, you know, like, no, it's okay that this is how it is. And I'm okay with it. And every part of them is crying out, you know, and you can just tell. And that, as a mother to a 23-year-old young woman, it absolutely breaks my heart. It really, really does. So it's not just Izzy specific as much as it is, yes, of course, because I do have a dog in the fight for sure. But I also just see it.
I was don't call your daughter
I
a
know,
dog.
I know.
That's not
Sorry.
the best.
That is not going to help her dating prospects at all.
She's not a dog. And I don't also want to make her sound like desperate because that's not it at all. So she has, I am incredibly impressed with her standards. And that is something that makes me very proud of her. So.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. And, you know, no matter what she said she's proud of you. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, I am very
Keep
proud
that
of
in
her.
mind,
I
guys.
just thought of a guy for her.
Okay.
I will tell you after we stop recording.
Okay. That's for
Yeah,
the
'cause
Patreon.
I don't think I can even say it on the Patreon. But
Oh, I have
maybe.
gone through, and I'm not even joking you, like every one of Shad Dylan's friends. And then sometimes with Abby, I'm like, Abby, so do you know of anybody? And she's like, no.
Abby
She's
doesn't
like,
know anybody.
No,
Yeah.
she's like, the only person she has said, well, Brant's single, you know.
All reliable.
Brand's single. And
Brand's
again,
single and the sun rises in the east.
Yes.
Poor Brant.
Look, I love him. I miss him. He left me a voicemail the other day.
Oh.
I don't have a call from him. It's just a voicemail. And it just says, Josh. And that's it. I didn't even call him back. I was like, if he wants to reach me, he knows how.
Right.
I met.
Hopefully this episode does not cause too much controversy or hurt anybody's feelings.
I
He
would
is not
be-
going to listen to this for 6 months. I'm
Okay.
telling you, he's really behind.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't even know. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna listen to this. We're good. We could say anything about Brand. You got any embarrassing Brands?
No.
On the
Complete
Patreon, yes.
Complete the Brand arc. No. The way we get him to listen to the podcast is that we tell him we want him on the podcast in 3 weeks, and then he'll be
Yeah.
like, oh, I feel.
No.
I feel
Or-
I gotta record.
Or we tell him that we talked about him in the podcast.
Yeah.
That
So
is the
we might do
quickest
that
way.
with this
Well,
one.
be like,
yeah.
we talked about your dating life in
Yeah.
the podcast.
Oh, yeah. He'll cue that right up.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ready to go.
On the drive to
Ready to go.
Much love, Brant. We miss
Much
you.
love. Yes, we do. You too. And again, you're talking about perfect guy. And I don't know why you wouldn't just say Brand's name when you're.
That's not the guy I'm talking about.
Oh.
It's a different guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. You know.
but it's not somebody that I'm close enough with that I feel comfortable
Right.
Putting
Fully
them-
suggesting.
putting
Yes.
them on blast as a bachelor. I mean,
Secret bachelor.
we know they're a bachelor. This is established, but still,
Oh.
I don't know him well enough to be bandying his name. So
I mean, in all honesty, I'm just as interested as you are to hear who this name
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Fingers
Coming up
crossed.
next,
Okay,
maybe.
yeah. Coming up next on the between the show and the after show, when the recording is off
It's $100 to access that one.
per episode.
Per episode.
Yes,
Yep.
yeah. Because we got to get all of the controversial stuff out of our
Yes.
system
Yep.
in that in between.
Oh, okay.
Right. You know, so we keep the mics on and it's all recorded. We have it in the vault.
That's right.
Of course, all of the various 4-letter words that we won't even say. On
Yes.
You said
Yep.
a lot of swears last week. You said the
Oh, come on,
son
man.
of
Come
a
on.
bee like twice.
That
and,
one's
like,
allowed.
aggressively.
That one's
Is it?
Yeah.
It's a TV. It's a TV word.
Oh,
You can
I
say
haven't watched
everything
TV.
under the B word, but then you can't say anything over the B word
Yeah.
if we're
Okay.
trying to conform to YouTube's monetization standards.
Okay.
This podcast is not big enough to be monetized on YouTube.
What?
But if it ever is,
Right,
we'll-
you would
we'll
want
be
them
good.
to be.
Yeah.
We'll be good.
We
That's the
Okay.
goal.
we want to be as
I think we have to get to 1,000 subscribers
future
first.
proof as possible. Yes, we need 1,000 subscribers and
So what do you
10,000
need
of
left?
listening
So-
hours.
Like
At least
995.
we need like,
Like, go
7 more. Right?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
oh,
We're getting
wow.
close. So hit that
Subscribe
subscribe
and like button,
subscribe.
guys.
Bye.
Come on.
Yeah. Hit that MF and subscribe button, guys. Like and subscribe. No, yeah, I'm so bad about that aspect of everything. You know, it's so hard when you're making a thing, or
Artists are not good promoters.
yeah. I mean,
Period.
because at the end of the day, every time I see it in a video, I'm like, you shill. What are you doing?
Oh, sure. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
You're,
yeah.
So
It's
you're
like-
being
yeah.
super judgy.
No, well,
But they're just trying to pay their bills.
exactly, and that's the
And
sad
it
thing
works.
about it.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah,
Yeah,
why
and
not?
people do it. Yeah, and I'm just too cynical, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like when I see somebody like do an ad read, and I skip through it, and I'm like, jeez. But like, yeah,
Yeah.
of course, you got to
Right.
make your freaking secure that
Right.
bag, dude.
Joe
That's right,
Rogan
that's
has
right.
ads. Come
Yeah,
on now.
of course.
Are you,
Jocko Willnick. Daryl
first
Cooper.
off, Joe Rogan is not a paragon of humanity that one should,
No,
Hey,
I don't think
hey.
he is either. I was just talking about in the podcast realm.
No,
I mean,
Okay.
he does have a lot
I
of people
obviously
that
I
listen
I
to his
pushed
ads.
show.
I pushed a nerve with both of you guys.
I will say that.
We're going to talk about Rogan in
Yeah.
the Patreon.
Oh, yeah, okay. Then how much longer do we have?
We're done.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Oh, we're
what are we
so
on
Yeah.
now?
done.
Oh,
We're
really?
over an hour. Yep.
Oh,
absolutely.
geez. I thought we had like another half hour left.
I
Are
was
you
going to talk
serious?
about your dad sending me the shirtless picture of RFK that's all over Twitter. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he's,
I mean, it's
he's
like
ripped.
I know,
He's
and then
super
it's like all of
ripped.
a sudden I open my phone. I'm like,
Ah.
there's a shirtless old guy, and then my husband sent it to me. It didn't have even a caption. It wasn't
Like, who
like
is this?
anything. It was just like, look at this specimen.
Who's RFK?
Oh gosh.
Robert Kennedy Jr.
Oh,
He's-
yes,
yes.
yes.
Pres-
He was on.
presidential
Who was the one on Rogan?
Great
like a
episode.
Yeah, I haven't listened to it, but Zach listened to it. Okay, so
it's gonna
I gotta
it's
tell you
gonna
this.
turn your world upside down. I
This-
think.
yeah. So Zach, the entire time we were raising babies. There was never a vaccine question. There was never a food question. There was never like, are the kids? When was the last time the kids went to the doctor or
Yeah.
the dentist? He never asked me one time. So literally, he calls me up and he's like, "Hun, did Hieronymus get the Hep B vax?" Like, I mean,
dude,
he calls me
it's
at
a
like
terrifying episode.
yeah,
though.
at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, I don't know. He's like, check it, find out. You need to tell me if you got it or not. I'm like, okay, turn off Joe Rogan, please, and go back to bed.
Now this is content that will get us kicked off of YouTube.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
We better save this for the Patreon.
Monomaniacs does not support.
Nope. We
No.
neither confirm nor
Nor
deny
deny.
Yes,
the existence of vaccines.
we take no stance on the matter.
Yes.
How's that?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
You do not speak for the Monomaniacs
Oh,
podcast.
I'm sorry. I was.
Well, actually, as
giving you
somebody who
words
has
to say.
a
What are you talking about?
a
I'm a
controlling
big
percentage.
patriot.
but I guess you do in some ways.
I
Yeah.
think she can come on and say whatever she wants.
Yeah.
Cut the mic. Cut the
All right.
episode's
I got the
over.
mic.